Hi, my name is Rupesh and I work with Dotline as a performance marketeer, and I've got about like 15 plus years of experience. So today I happen to come here for the placement drive. Rightfully matched few profiles based on the requirement that we had. I'm so happy that XLR did a great job in terms of getting the pool of talents out and training them, and lucky that we are here so that we got the right match and we were able to get it. And thank you so much, XLR. Thank you.
So hello guys, myself Mohammad Tarheeb. I am a graduate from aviation background, and then I thought of doing my course in digital marketing. So then XLR was the best opportunity for me. I took out digital marketing from them, and then I enhanced my skills in digital marketing. They offered me a campus drive in a company called Dotline. They gave us 3 days of good session for student development program, wherein they gave us a good opportunity of learning whatever the skills is required for the interview, for us to enhance our skills and then perform well in interview. So yeah, after the interview went well and I have got selected in Dotline Designs right now, and I am excited for the opportunity coming up.
Hi, I am Pinky. I did my MBA in HR. How I got to know about this institute is through Google. And then we got a wonderful trainer whose name is Asar. He used to give theoretical ideas, and for this interview we had a prior 3-day session for just brushing up all the requirements needed to attend the interview, which is again a wonderful thing from XLR team. So I had a good experience in attending the interview session for Dotline company. Thank you.
My name is Rahul Ulkar. I've been working as a senior architect in UX systems. So today we are here at XLR Systems for the placement drive, and I really appreciate the placement services that the team that I actually met. We really got a good service and hospital service. Actually, the way they actually welcome is really fantastic, and I love. This is actually one of the best experience that I have ever. And and about the student quality, today actually we had interviews with almost like 25 to 30 students, but the candidates are really good. I mean, with respect to knowledge, with respect to communication, I mean, they are much more familiar about the technologies. Most of the interviews we had in Java, and the students are really fantastic. Thank you.
I'm Hariprasad Bugate. So today we have come here on the behalf of UX Systems, and so we are conducting a drive at XLR. The students here, they are also, we found them very confident. Thank you.
Hello everyone. My name is Mayuri Pimple. I have completed my full stack development course from the XLR EdTech Private Limited. The XLR is doing the fantastic job. The XLR placement team is doing the excellent work, and they are also providing the SDP session that boost our confidence at the next level. I would like to thank the whole training and placement team of the XLR for arranging the drive at the XLR Pune office. Thank you.
The training provided by the XLR was very fantastic. The placement was provided are also good. There are the various SDP sessions was conducted at XLR office, so that student can enhance their skill and knowledge and crack the interview and boost our knowledge to the next level.
The training provided by XLR is flawless. They provide good placement support. They doing STP sessions regularly to boost our confidence to the next level. I would like to thank whole XLR team to arrange the campus drive at Pune office.
Hi, myself Sudhakar. I came from PeopleLink Unified Communications, and there I am working as a head for the marketing department. Today we visited this XLR for campus placement drive. So we are happy that we came here to XLR, and whoever we interviewed today, we are very much happy because they have very good knowledge. Not only theory, and we can see they have like a good practical knowledge also. They are providing very good strong foundation for the candidates. So we are planning to hire more people from XLR.
Myself Mohammad Khalib, and I'm from PeopleLink. Like I'm a digital marketer of the PeopleLink. We came for the XLR to take on interviews of the SEO and other like digital marketing interviews process. So about the XLR candidates, the profiles, like we got shortlisted, like if they have a good knowledge on the digital marketing. So apart from digital marketing, they have on marketing other activities like customer support wise or any other like. So here we got a good candidates. So more SEO part or the social media marketing or the PPC. So like the interview process like was good, and we actually got a good candidates here. So we have taken like more and more candidates from the XLR.
Good afternoon everyone. I'm Mohammad Siddiq, and I've done my digital marketing course from XLR Solutions, the best learning platform for digital marketing. It's XLR Solutions. What specialized solutions what I have studied in XLR is SMM, social media optimization, social media marketing, SEO, search engine optimization, and etc. The service and the learning platform and the tutors was excellent, and they have provided me a best internship platform with PeopleLink. It was very pleased to have that opportunity to me to explore my skills and execute my knowledge on that platform. Thank you so much.
Hello, myself Sucharita. Recently I have done my digital marketing in XLR, And since digital marketing is the most trending and evolving platform in the market, you can often career here in this field. So in XLR they will provide you intense training and in digital marketing, and the trainer are very well trained and they have good hand-on experience in digital marketing. So they will provide you each and every details and train you perfectly in the field of digital marketing, and after the completion of course they will provide you to work in real field in projects, so to elevate your knowledge and skills in digital marketing. After completion of course also XLR has provided placement assistance for me. Today I have come here to attend a placement interview conducted by XLR in People Link company. So my experience in that job interview is very good. The HR are very good and friendly. They have explained you very well like in which field and how the digital marketing works in their company. So till now I have a very good experience in XLR, and I definitely will recommend you to join the course for your future. Thank you.
Hello guys, myself Nikhil Reddy V. I'm currently graduated with Masters in Management with Sales and Marketing. I'm currently done with my interview and I've done my digital marketing course with XLR. I found the course online in Google in top ranking in search, and based on the curriculum and everything, and the professors and everyone are quite excellent in the XLR faculty team. And my professor was Mr. Uday, and Uday was a Google certified and Google trained professor. He teaches me digital marketing, and during the classes he was an excellent professor. He used to clarify every doubts, and if I had any doubts post the class period, he used to personally take care in teachers and clarify the doubts. Today I'm here with people interviewing for them, and my interview went well good, hoping for the good. Thank you, XLR.
Hi, myself Rohan. I have completed my degree, and after completing my degree I decided to do digital marketing, and through internet I have got this XLR solutions which has number of ratings, so I decided to join. So after completing I even did projects, live projects. They helped me in each and everything. After doing that they even placed me in interviews, and today I attended People Link company. Thank you, XLR.
Hello friends, I am Ronak and I want to share my experience with XLR. So I was enrolled in XLR for a software testing course, and I have to say right from the start of the course we were provided with the best service. I feel the quality of teaching in the course is the best, with live lectures every day, separate doubt sessions, and also recorded sessions if you have missed the sessions or you just want to revise. Throughout the course, we learned manual testing, Java, SQL, Selenium, and TestNG framework. After the learning part was completed, interview preparation sessions were also conducted. So proper guidance was given by the faculty, assignments were given to be completed, and group projects were taken, as well as we had to make individual projects, which proved to be very beneficial for us in sharpening our skills as well. So mock interviews were also held to make sure we get good placements. Finally, I got placed in many companies. So as my personal experience, it's the best institute to join if your dream is to get a job in IT and make a good career in IT. So just go for it.
Hi, I'm Sai Akhil, and I'm working as a process consultant and data analyst in Siemens Technologies Private Limited. After joining XLR on my first day to the classroom, so I went there. I was really nervous because I'm entirely new to data science, and data science is like an ocean. So I felt like how would it be? How would the faculty teach me and everything? The faculty was really good. They went on about teaching things in a really specific manner. What problems would you face as a data scientist, and how would you solve it? So they explained everything in that manner. The business knowledge which XLR imparts on a student, so that's something which is really valuable. One more great thing about XLR is that there are really good value added courses which are provided to me for free without any extra fee, like Tableau, cloud engineering, and big data engineering, and some really good courses which are in demand in the market, which were to be learned
Good afternoon, all. Hope all are doing good. So we'll move to the session. Today we have our trainer Bala. Okay, yeah. So Bala, you can take up the class.
Yep, thanks, Chandana.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I hope everyone doing great. So yesterday we tried to review on module for compute services. So today we're gonna try to review on the services for networking as well. As cloud vendor is trying to provide various services over the internet, and out of that, the compute services that we try to review and understanding of cloud introduction. So let's try to start up with networking as well. So we are just waiting for a few more people. Any doubts from yesterday's session? Like any queries that you just come across? Understanding? Anyone? Any doubts? All right. So today topic is nothing but networking, and you might have an idea, right? Like a basic network, how it works. So in terms of physical infrastructure, the networking devices were installed in the data center level, and we are trying to use those networking services and the relevant modules directly over the cloud internet. Okay, let's try to see how it networks work. So what is a network? A network is nothing but a communication. Okay, a network is nothing but a communication that will be enabled between source and destination. Okay, so in general, what are the different types of network devices that we get to see? Like routers, switches, firewalls, and access points, hub, transmitters, right? There are different devices that will be in place, right? So usually a network is nothing but system of interconnected devices that can share resources and exchange the data. Okay, so what are these devices? The end devices can be, it can be a computers, mobile phones, servers, or any IoT devices, and they can be anything. And these devices, they are just connected using the physical wires or the wireless technologies. Okay, so usually networks uses a set of rules called communication protocols to transmit the information, and these protocols dictate how devices like routers, switches, and security gateways handle and transfer or have a forward the information to particular location. That's how it will work, correct? So we will try to see how what kind of a network devices that are actually in place within the cloud environment. So similar kind of a network setup, it's been offered in the cloud as well. So if we try to see here, there is a concept of virtual private cloud. Virtual private cloud. What is virtual private cloud? Let's try to see. That means a cloud vendor is trying to provide a virtualized environment to have a creation of our own network infrastructure. Okay. So virtual private cloud is nothing but a division of the public cloud architecture into various networks. So this kind of a concept enables us and giving us an option to achieve the advantages that what we have a physical infrastructure networks that we try to have it. Okay. So VPC is a concept which is actually offered by the cloud vendors, which lets companies and users to establish its own private cloud like computing environment on a cloud infrastructure. That means we can try to create our own private network. We can try to create our own private network on the public cloud infrastructure. That means you can try to opt for a security concern in terms of configuration. You can try to launch your own servers inside that network. Basically, a VPC runs on a shared infrastructure. Okay, that means on a isolated environment. That means you will have your own network configuration and which you don't need to worry about in terms of security aspect as well. So completely VPC is completely isolated. So that means VPC resources are reserved for each specific customer, and it creates a private and more secure public cloud environment. So if you go by the definition, and Amazon virtual private cloud enables you to launch AWS resources into a virtual network that you define. This virtual network closely resembles a traditional network that you would operate in your own data center, with the benefits of using the scalable infrastructure of AWS. Okay. So inside this virtual private cloud model, the public VPC provider is responsible for ensuring that each cloud customer data remains isolated from every other customer data during the transmission of data and inside the cloud provider's network. In this way, you can try to configure your own security policies and trying to create a virtual local area networks in terms of creating a separate subnets on the virtual private network. Can someone tell me what is the concept of subnet? Anyone? What is a subnet? Anyone? Can anyone tell me? Maybe you can try to type in chat. You might have a subject for the networking, right, in your semesters. What is a network? Like you people are already aware of network, right, for the communication. What is a subnet? Anyone? I'm seeing some responses in the chat. Network inside a network. Someone saying segmented pieces of a large network. Then anyone else? Any other queries? I mean, options or suggestions? Logical partition, yes. So what is the concept of subnet? Subnet is nothing but a logical division of main network into a subnetworks. A subnet is nothing but a logical division of main network. That means segmented piece of larger network to have a smaller network creation. That means the main network cannot be given to everyone in any company, right? So usually there in a company, there is some kind of a database team and web application team, R&D team, HR team, finance team, correct? So each team, they do have a different requirements. Each team, they have a sensitive data. Each team have a requirement for processing communication over the internet, and some projects that doesn't require internet to hide the data or secure the data. For that, what actually we need, we don't want to give the IP addresses assigned or the network assigned to everyone in a same fashion from the main network. So basically what are we doing here? We are trying to divide the main network into sub networks to ensure the security. Just a moment. So we are trying to divide the main network into sub networks. That is the concept of sub network. That means we are trying to divide the main network into sub networks. That means smaller networks. Okay, in that way, it will try to make ensure. It will try to make ensure uh, to reduce the complexity and to maintain the security aspect and to have an isolated for each project requirement. That means for different teams, I'm trying to have a different network that is created that will be divided from the main network here. Okay. So in VPC also, there is a concept of subnets. So we can try to create a subnet for the private access, and we can try to create a subnet, public subnet for having internet access. So there are different ways that we can try to do it. We'll try to show you how it works. Okay. So where this network VPC deployment can be done. A VPC, you can try to deploy in any VPC, right? So where this VPC can be deployed, you can have the console access and can deploy the VPC in any AWS region, in any location. You just simply select the required location nearby, the data center that is nearby to you, and you can try to have that VPC deployed, and you can try to choose a different regions. That means you can try to have different availability zones that you can try to select. So that means a VPC can host supported resources from any availability zone within its region. Okay. So within this, VPC concept, I think someone have a doubt. Who is that? What is the doubt? Narsin Banu, you have any doubt? You have raised your hand. Okay. So there is a concept of CIDR block here. So that means in any company, if you want to create a network, So in a company, if there are 100 servers or the 100 computers, then you need to assign 100 IP addresses, right? If any company, in the same company, there are requirement for 200 IP addresses, then you need to assign maybe 220 or trying to choose the right IP address range. So this CIDR, classless inter-domain routing, it will try to define how many IP addresses that you can try to choose here. Okay. For example, if I try to choose a private IP address range, okay, and I'll try to put as /20. So then 4096 IP addresses can be generated. If I try to have a network that I want to choose and want to assign to a company, if I try to choose /28, then it will be trying to show you give you an option for assigning 16 IP addresses. So usually we have an online subnet calculators. I'll show that. There is a concept. You type the subnet calculators here. You can see this slash notation. Based on the slash notation, it will try to define how many IP addresses can be chosen. For example, in my company, there are 500 computers that I want to get assigned with an IP address. So if I try to choose /23, it can generate 510 IP addresses. Okay. So if you try to choose /24, you can try to generate 254 IP address, and this is a subnet mask. Subnet mask is a concept to help to identify the number of network bits and the host bits. If I try to choose any IP address and the number of IP addresses that can be trying to assign to systems or the servers, this is the number that will be get to know. So this kind of a slash notation CIDR block that we have to choose during the creation of VPC, I'll try to show in the console level. Okay. So if you see the definition here, a subnet, it is a segment of partition of a VPC's IP address range where you can allocate a group of resources. Subnets are not isolation boundaries, and subnets are subset of the VPC CIDR block. That means subnet is always the division of main CIDR, main network block. It is a part of that. Okay. Each subnet resides entirely with one availability zone. That means if there is a main network here, you can see, for example, this is a VPC. I'm trying to choose a network called 10.0.0.0/22, right? 10.0.0.0/22. /22 can generate how many IP addresses, guys? For example, it can generate 1022 IP address, right? So this is a main network which I've already chosen. So I cannot assign this main network IP addresses to all the systems. I cannot assign all the 1000 IP addresses to all the servers of the computers. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to divide the main network into subnets. So I've divided 4 subnets, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I've created 2 subnets in availability zone A. I've created 2 subnets in availability zone B. So total 4 are 4 subnets. So 1022 divided by 4, it will be generating around 255 IP address. I think 256. Okay. So usually AWS will reserve 5 IP addresses in each subnet. So the remaining is 256 minus 5. It should be 251. So here what is actually trying to tell? We are trying to equally assign the IP addresses into each subnet so that if a database team, there are servers that has been launched, there is a team. I'm giving this IP addresses to the database team here. I'm giving the IP address in this private subnet to the HR team. I'm giving this subnet IP addresses to the web team. I'm giving this IP addresses to the this particular subnet IP addresses to the development team. Okay. What is the difference between public and private? Private subnet doesn't have access to the internet. No internet have an access because Due to security issues, we are trying to keep all the servers, unaccessible to the internet inside the private subnet. What is the difference between the public subnet? Public subnet will have an access to internet. Public subnet will have an access to the internet. That's why we are calling as a public. Private means it is not exposed to the internet. We are keeping all the secure servers inside the private subnet. Is that clear? CIDR is nothing but a classless inter-domain routing, the range that you would like to choose to generate the number of IP addresses. This is a CIDR block. Based on this block, you will try to divide and assign the IP addresses. How many IP addresses are required? Then you will try to choose this slash notation. Then you'll get those IP addresses assigned. Okay. So let's try to see some more aspects. What are the best VPC best design practices? Create one subnet per availability zone for each group of hosts that has unique requirements. We are trying to create one subnet in each availability zone so that you can try to configure the required rules. Divide your VPC network range evenly across all availability zones in a region. That means you need to allocate equal number of IP addresses of those subnets in that particular region. Do not allocate all network addresses at once. So instead, ensure that you reserve some addresses space for future use. Size your VPC network range and subnets to support significant growth for the expected workloads. So that means you need to actually configure the CIDR block range, the required. That means if a company's need of, the need of 250 IP addresses, do you think you need to choose slash 23? Slash 23 will generate 510 IP addresses. Because the remaining 255 IP addresses will be wasted. If there is a requirement for around 200 IP addresses, then it is better always to choose a safe is nothing but slash 24. That's what it means. Okay. Ensure that your VPC network range, that is CIDR block, does not overlap with your organization's other private network ranges. So it has to be unique. It cannot be same. All right. What is private IP address and the public IP address? Anyone? Can anyone tell the difference? What is the difference between the private IP address and the public IP address? Private IP address, which is nothing but it is used for internal access and it is local. It is used to communicate with internal network without having access to the public internet. It is a free of cost. You can try to configure the private IP addresses. Okay. What is public IP address? Public IP address is, it is used to communicate outside of the network which will have internet access. So usually this public IP address will be controlled by ISP, Internet Service Provider, which is chargeable. You need to purchase that. So that means the public IP address usually at your home, if you need internet access, what happen? The internet service provider, he will come to your home. He will try to assign the public IP address to the router and then you will get an access to the internet, right? That's the thing. Yes or no? So in the same way, we have a concept of public subnet and the private subnet. public subnet, when we try to create inside the VPC, servers created inside the public subnet have access to the internet. We are calling them as front-end servers. So the servers inside the public subnet will have access to the internet. We are calling that as front-end servers. What is private subnet? Servers inside the private subnet doesn't have access to the internet by default. That means the servers inside this private subnets, which are always secure, I don't want to expose over the internet. So what kind of a servers are those? Database servers, app servers, internal servers, and backend servers. Usually they don't have access to the internet by default. That is the difference between public and subnet private. So the reason I'm trying to divide this by two different subnets is to ensure the security for the backend servers. Okay. So that means I will create a network with my own network, and then I will try to divide the main network into a subnetworks. Okay. So what are the range classes of IP addresses usually? Anyone is aware what are the different IP address ranges? There is, the different classes, that is class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. Any IP address range that is starting from 0 to 127, which is used in a small range of IP address or government organizations, these IP address will be used. The IP address, any IP address which start from 0 to 127. Any IP address which starts from 128 to 192, then that belongs to the class B. Which is mostly, if you require more number of IP address in a company or in any organization, it can generate up to 65,536 IP addresses. Class C, if you need a smaller organization, you need a minimum number of IP addresses, like not more than 20 to 56. Then class C is a better option. Like IP address will range from 192 to 223. Class D, these are reserved for special purpose, that is 224 to 239, and 240 to 255. These are also reserved for special purpose. If you see in my system, the IP address which is got assigned to my computer, what is the IP address? You can see this 192.168.0.119. So, this is the IP address, and the maximum number in each octet is 255 number. So the number is starting from 192, so it is belonging to the class C. Okay. So in the same way, we can also create our own network or the VPC and allocate the IP addresses inside the cloud and trying to have a configuration. Shall we try to go ahead and do the VPC now? So just want to cover the theoretical understanding before. Any doubt? All right. Let me try to launch a sample server inside a defined net VPC network. Here I go. P is getting loaded. So guys, this is a console for VPC. So let's start it. So if you see here, there are two VPCs which are already placed. So let's try to create from scratch. Okay. What I can do, let's try to create a sample step-by-step process of creating a VPC. Like I'm trying to create my own defined VPC network in the cloud. So the first step, I'll try to create a VPC. So I'm giving a name as first VPC. Okay. Let me try to click on create. You can see I'm creating a network that is nothing but VPC. I'm giving the name as first VPC. Here, I have to choose the main CIDR. I told you, right? Based on how much requirement that I have an IP addresses. In that basis, I need to choose the network. That means the private IP range where I can try to use and the slash notation to define how many IP address I need. For example, I need, I want to have a configuration around 250 computers or the 250 servers. Then I would like to choose slash 24 or 25. It depends on my requirement. For example, I come down. Yeah. You see here, if I have a requirement of 200 to 250 computers, then I think slash 24 is the best option. Okay. Then what I'll do, I'll try to choose a network called 10.0.0.0 slash 24. So this is one IP address, the main network, which I'm choosing. And this is a slash 24 is nothing but a notation. That means how many IP addresses it can generate. And I click on this, create VPC. I'll try to write it as 10.0.0.0 slash 24. It will generate almost 255 IP addresses, right? So usually AWS will try to reserve, 5 IP addresses. So the remaining it should be having only 251. Usually it is 256. Last IP address is used for broadcast purpose, and the remaining IP addresses are blocked by AWS. So we'll get only 251. Okay. Now let's try to create subnets. I want to divide the main network into subnetworks. First, public subnet. This is one subnet which I want to provide internet access. First, private subnet. I don't want to provide internet access to the private subnet. So, which will have internet access. Okay. So now, while creating the subnets here, click on create subnet. So under which network, the main network, this is the first VPC, right? 10.0.0 slash 24. I am dividing this main network into two subnets. One is first public subnet, first private subnet. Okay. So I'll give the name here. The first name is nothing but first subnet. And availability zone, you can try to create the subnetwork into any of the availability zones here. And this is IP address range, which I've created a main network. Now, if I want to divide /24 into two subnets, that means 254 is divided into two subnets, then it should be around 128, correct? So that means I want to divide the main network into subnets, then I have to choose which slash notation. It should be /25, which will be generating around 126. So what I'll do, I'll try to create the first subnet into first half. So I'll try to choose as 10.0.0.0/25. You can see it is dividing 255 IP addresses into half, that is 128. Okay. It is 25, that means 24/24 is nothing but it will generate 254 IP addresses. If I try to choose /25, it is dividing 2, like 254 divided by 2, how much is that? It is generating around 128. So I'm trying to choose /25 here. So it is generating 128, correct? I'm choosing the first subnet, I'm clicking on create. Next, I created the first subnet. What is the first subnet? I've divided the network 10.0.0.0/25. Okay, which will generate around 128 IP addresses, for example, because I'm dividing the main network into subnetworks. Next, I'll create one more subnet that is under the same first VPC, that is first private subnet, and no preference. With the availability zone, you can try to choose anything, but I'm just not having any preference that I want to give here. So next, subnet range. If the first half of the IP addresses are blocked there, the second half of the networks that will be starting from 10.0.0.0.128. See, in each octet, the minimum number is 0, the maximum number is 255. If 128 IP addresses are blocked in the first range, the next set will start from 128, 129, 130, and 131, 132. It will go till 255, correct? So the remaining set of IP addresses, I'm trying to start from 10.0.0.128, 129, 130, 131, 140, and 200 and 255. The last IP address will be 10.0.0.0.255. Okay, I'm blocking here with /25. Again, remaining 128 IP addresses are blocked again. Okay, clicking on create. So my two subnets have been created. You see this? See, the first subnet, it has been created with this range, that is /25. The second set of subnet has been created with the /25, starting from 128. How many available IP addresses in each availability zone? 123, because AWS will reserve the 5 IP addresses. So 128 minus 5, the remaining IP addresses are available as 123. I can try to launch 123 servers inside this public subnet, 123 computer servers inside the private subnet. These many servers I can launch. Okay, these two subnets are created under US West 2C. Okay. My next step, I have successfully created a VPC and I've tried to create the subnets as well. All right. someone is asking the benefit of creating VPC and subnet. So how do you access internet at your home? Why do we a network? Why do we need an internet access? Without network, it is not possible, right? Even if you want to launch a server inside the cloud, you need a network. Do you want to launch a server in different network? It's not possible. You can try to create your own network and then trying to launch all this resources like servers, database, and developing applications, websites, everything under the network. So that network you're trying to use here, that's a benefit of VPC. Okay. In terms of security, this VPC allows high security for the servers, and you have a full control how to control your resources on the servers inside the cloud environment. And you can decide who can access the server, who shouldn't access the server, and you can try to configure the security policies and everything. All right. My next step, what is this? The private subnet I've given 10.0.0.0 slash 20 no, 128 slash 25. So it is also generating 128 IP addresses usually. Okay. Can anyone tell me which subnet will have internet access? Can anyone tell me? Public or private subnet? So we need to assign the internet access, right? To which subnet? Public or private? Yes, public subnet. So what I'll do, I'll just try to, edit settings for the public subnets. I'll assign the public IP address for internet access here. It will automatically assign the IP addresses, public IP address to the servers launched under the public subnet. And so to have an internet access to the network, there is an option called internet gateway. The third step is to create internet gateway. Okay. What is the purpose of internet gateway? Internet gateway is a virtual router that connects a VPC to the internet. Internet gateway is a virtual router that connects a VPC to the internet. So that means to have an access to the internet or the cloud environment to the VPC, it is required to create internet gateway. Okay. I'm creating first internet gateway here. I'm clicking on create, and you can see the following gateway has been created. You can attach to the VPC to enable the VPC to communicate with the internet. I'm giving attach to the VPC. Which VPC? The first VPC which I've created. Click on attach. Create internet gateway. Attach internet gateway to the VPC. The third step is also done. VPC concept is within the AWS only. You need to create VPC within AWS. You cannot try to create VPC outside. If you want to configure a network outside, you need all the physical devices like routers, switches, and everything. Okay. Next, my step is to create the route table. Let's try to understand what is the concept of route table. Route table specifies how packets are forwarded between the subnets within your VPC, within the network and your VPC connection. So basically a route table is nothing but it's a concept of trying to define the routes. It is trying to show you the way how the packets can move forward within that particular subnets, how the communication has to be there. For that, route table is needed. Route is nothing but showing a proper route path. So every subnet, it requires a route table. For example, for the public subnet, I'm creating a public route table. For the private route, subnet, I'm creating a private route table. Okay. So let me try to. I'm creating two route tables. First, public route table. First, private route table. So this public route table is for the public subnet, private route table for the private subnet. Okay. So I'll go and create, I'll give it as first public route table. Under which VPC? The first VPC, create. I'll create one more route table, that is first private route table. I'm attaching to the same first VPC and creating a route table. Okay. So you can see the two route tables has been created successfully, which are attached to the VPC. Now let's try to edit these route tables. So this is the first route table. Inside this route table, there is a different options, that is routes and the subnet associations. Under the route section, if you see, there is a default route for the main network is already added 10.0.0/24. Under the subnet associations, I don't have any subnet that is attached. That means for this public route table, I need to define which, the subnet that can be associated here. I'm clicking on edit. I need to attach the first public subnet. First public subnet, I'll click on save. So that means attach public subnet to the public route table. Okay. Next, we have to do the same thing for private route table as well. Attach private subnet to the private route table, which we have created. So everything I'm trying to create manually. All right. Next, the route is same here. There is a default route. I'll go to the subnet associations. I'll go to the first private route table, click on edit. I'll attach the private subnet to the private route table. Next, so which subnet usually we need an internet connection, that is a public subnet. So what I'll do, I'll edit the public route table and I'll attach the internet gateway to this particular public route table, because I want to clearly mention with the help of this route table that the network the servers inside the public subnet should have internet access through a internet gateway. So I'll click on add route. Who want to have an access? Anyone can connect the servers inside this public subnet through internet gateway. So here there's an option called internet gateway. You see this internet gateway. Who can connect? 0.0.0, any IP address. They can communicate the servers inside the public route table through internet gateway. I'm clicking on save. You can see our internet gateway is added. All right. So I don't need to have addition of internet gateway to the private route table, because I don't want to expose the servers inside the private subnet over the internet, right? So that's why I'm trying to add the internet gateway to the public route table only. So my route table creation is done. Next, I have successfully created a VPC. I have divided the subnets. Each sub, the main network into two subnets. One is public subnet and the private subnet. Created internet gateway and attached the gateway to the VPC and created the route tables. Okay. Next, what I'll do, what is the purpose of public subnet? I can launch web server to have internet access. Inside the public server subnet. To have internet access. And I can launch database server like a secure server inside private subnet. It doesn't have internet access. That we will try to check. Okay. This is the lab that I would like to try. So once you create any VPC, so you can try to right click on this and you need to enable the DNS resolution host name here. So that will try to generate the public DNS host name. I'm clicking on save. Okay, my VPC creation is done. Now I'll go to here, EC2. Let me launch my own server inside the created VPC. You can see instances. I'm clicking on launch instance. Okay. So which server I would like to launch? To test, I launch a web server inside the public subnet to test internet access. I'll type it as public web So I'm trying to click on, Windows machine. So here, keep here, I'm trying to select the one which I've launched. Under the network settings, you can see I'm launching a server under my own network created. I'll click on edit, the first VPC. Under which subnet I have to launch this web server? Is it per public subnet or the private subnet to have internet connection? Anyone? Yes, to have internet access to the web server, I need to launch the server inside the public subnet. Okay, I'm selecting the public subnet and I'll go to the security group, default. There's a 30 GB. I'm clicking on launch server. Let's see if this server is having internet connection or not. Next, I launch one more server that is nothing but a private database server. You can see I'll launch a database server, right? So I'll type it as I'll select the Windows. Selecting Windows only. Now under which network I have to launch the private server? That is the first VPC. Is it public subnet or the private subnet? You know, the database server. Usually. Anyone? Anyone? The server database server should be launched under which subnet here that we have created? Can anyone guess? It should be the private subnet. Okay. Select this. I'm launching. Let's see what happened. Now let's see if this which server will get an internet access or not. We'll try to verify now. I have successfully launched two resources under the network created by me. Let's try to see validation now. So servers are getting initialized. Let's try to have it launched. I've launched one public web server, one private database server. Okay. So let's see if it got launched. Now both are actually in running state. It has been passed with security checks. All right. Let me try to connect the public server now. RDP client, get password. I'm generating the password for the server. So copy the link. I'm trying to type the IP address for the server. I'm clicking on connect. So it should ask for username and password if the ports are enabled. So it is not connected. What could be the reason? There could be an issue with a network communication ports. So for that, you need to make sure the security groups are properly configured to enable the access for Windows Server. Let me check. So it has been assigned with a different source. There is no security group assigned for RDP. Let's try to see what is a security group. Okay. What are security groups? Security groups acts as a firewall for your EC2 servers to control incoming and outgoing traffic. So that means as I'm not able to connect from my system to this server inside the cloud, it's an incoming traffic to this server, so which is blocked. So to control incoming and outgoing traffic for this server, I have to configure required ports for this server to enable. That is possible with the help of security group. So it acts as a firewall for the servers to control incoming outgoing traffic. Inbound rules control the incoming traffic to your server. Outbound rules control the outgoing traffic to the server. Okay. So I need to enable the required ports inside the inbound rules. For example, if I need internet access, then I need to enable the HTTP port. If I want to connect the server, then I need to enable the RDP port. Let's see. So I'll open the security group. I'll click on edit inbound rules, add rule. So you can see I'm just trying to enable RDP port for server to get connected. Click on RDP. Who can access the server? So from my system, I'm connecting the cloud server. So it can be any IP address. So I'm giving 0.0.0. Click on save. Okay. And let me try now. Click on connect. Now you see it is connected successfully. Now it will asking for a password. See, now it is getting connected. So this is a concept of security group. That's why I'm able to connect to the server. If you see, I have successfully connected to the the server. You can see, if you clearly see here, this public server launched under which network? The first VPC, and the subnet is this, right? What IP address got assigned? You can see 10.0.0.8. That means below 0 to 128 below, in those IP address range, it has been assigned with IP address of 0.8. If you look at the private server, let's see what IP address it got assigned. After 128, whatever the IP address it will assign. That means 10.0.0.2.236. You can see that after from 128 to remaining till 255, out of this range it has got randomly assigned with 236. In this way, the IP addresses got assigned. So I'll open this. Now let me test if this server got internet access or not. So that is our validation. I'll open the command prompt. See, CMD command prompt is open. So ping command is used to test the internet access to particular website. I'm pinging google.com. You see, I'm getting a response here. You see that? Now it confirms that my server inside the public subnet, the web server, it got internet access. Even if I try to open any browser inside this server, I should be able to access any websites. So you see here, I'm able to open the websites with an internet access in the public server. Okay, it is successful. Now, if you check, if you would like to connect the private server, you can see you don't have a public IP address to connect. Even if you try to use the private IP address, it doesn't allow to connect over the internet. That means the private servers, the database servers are secure. That's why the access has been blocked for the private servers. You don't have internet access. It is working as expected. It shouldn't connect to the internet. That's the concept. Right? It doesn't work. So we have already seen, as per the concept, subnets are subset of VPC CIDR block. So all the subnets which are created inside this particular main network, which are part of the network only. That means all these subnets can communicate each other. They can communicate each other because they are part of the same main parent network. So as I'm not able to access this private server inside the, from local system to the cloud net, let me try to see if this private server can be connected inside the public server because they belong to the same network. You can see this 10.0.0.236 and 10.0.0. Both are belonging to the same network. So they should talk each other, right? Let me go and try if this private server can be connected inside the public server. So for that, what I'll do, so 10.0.0.236, right? I'll open the public server here. Where is my server? Yeah, this is the public server. See, this is the public server which has been launched already. I'll open the RDP from here. You can see the remote desktop connection. I'll copy the private IP address because 10.0.0.236. 36. Okay, this is the private IP address. I click on connect. It should access within this public server because they both belong to the same network. You can see it is asking for username and password. Let's see if it is connecting or not. Now I'm connecting this. It is asking for confirmation. I hope it should work successfully. See, my private server is getting launched inside the public server. That means as both the subnets are part of the main VPC network. So that's why they are able to connect each other. You can see my private server is getting launched. You see, a private server has been launched inside the public server. This IP address is 10.0.0.236. You see this? The private server IP address here is 10.0.0.236. That's what you see here. And if you see, it don't have internet access. How can I try to check it? Again, I'll open the command prompt. When I'm trying to ping google.com, it doesn't respond because private servers are not allowed over the internet. You can see I'm getting a request timeout. So that means this VPC has been created properly and public server and private servers are working as expected. So the internet access is blocked for this private server. Any doubts here? Anyone? Any doubts? We are done with VPC creation. We have successfully created a network. I tried to launch my own database servers. I launched my own web servers within the VPC range. Is it understandable? So this configuration and clear settings, everything will be clearly been, taught and explained in the full-time course batch. So all these things, usually we'll try to make you learn during the full-time course batch from the basic scratch level. Anyone? I don't see any questions or queries. Any doubts or any queries? See, the main difference between private IP and public IP are private IP addresses are free to use. As I've told, there are different private IP address ranges. You can see, which you can try to use and configure in your system. Public IP addresses are not free. These are provided by ISPs, Internet Service Providers. So that is chargeable. With the public IP address only, you will get internet at your home. He will try to assign that public IP address in your routers. Okay. You see this? The public IP address is used for internet communication where you want to communicate over the internet. These addresses are chargeable. Private IP addresses are used for intranet communication. We cannot use these IP addresses for internet communication. These are free, and these are the range of IP addresses we can use for private IP address. Okay. Yes. Someone had a good question. So how do we need to provide internet access to these private servers? That means even the database server require internet connections, right? It shouldn't, no one should actually access the database server from internet, but this database server requires internet access to download some softwares or patches or any kind of a security upgrades, right? For that, we have a concept of NAT gateway. Okay, we have a concept of NAT gateway. Let's try to see what is that quick. Don't have this here. I'll show that. So to enable the internet access within the private servers, what actually we can do? Just yes, NAT gateway. A NAT gateway is a network address translation service. You can use a NAT gateway so that instances in a private subnet can communicate, connect to the service outside your VPC. That means private servers can have an internet access, but other resources like outside world, they cannot try to access and touch or initiate a connection with the private servers. Okay, let's try to do how it can be done. So for example, I'll show you. For example, this is a private server, right? Here it is not having internet connection. So if I need internet connection, what I'll try to do? I'll configure a NAT gateway. Let's try. You see there is an option called NAT gateway here. Click on create NAT gateway. I'm giving as demo NAT gateway. So I'm creating this NAT gateway and placing in the public subnet, so that whenever the request is coming from the private server, the request is going to the NAT gateway, which is located inside the public subnet. Okay. Allocate elastic IP, which generates a persistent public IP address. Click on create. Now my NAT gateway has been created. So now I'll go to the route tables. Here, which servers required internet gateway access? So that is nothing but private servers inside the private subnet. So I'll edit the private route table. I'll go to the routes, edit route, add route 0.0.0. That means NAT gateway. Here, click on save. So that means the servers inside this particular private subnet should have internet access. That's what I'm trying to define here. I click on access. Okay. Now when I'm trying to see, let's see if that is working fine. Actions. Yeah. Let's see if it is getting internet access or not now. Ping space google.com. Let's give it some time. It's still timed out. Let's have it, give it some time to have it created. So I've created that, right? So I'm editing the private route table and giving the access to the NAT gateway here. Let me see if NAT gateway is created or not first. It should be in the available state. Demo NAT gateway, the public access available. That's fine. Okay. Now do you see? I'm getting a response for the internet inside this public subnet, private server. Is everyone observing? With the help of NAT gateway, we can enable the internet access to the private servers inside the private subnet, so that the server can communicate with internet, but others cannot try to touch this private server inside the private subnet. That's a one kind of a concept within the VPC. Okay, VPC NAT gateway is a concept to enable internet connection to the private servers. Any doubts on this? All right. So what I'll do, these are chargeable services. I'm trying to delete this NAT gateway. I don't need anymore. So I'll try to terminate the servers as well. Okay. Now if I try to delete the NAT gateway, if you see, if I try to ping it again, now it doesn't work. You see this? My ping, the network access has been blocked because I disabled the NAT gateway. So if you would like to do it, you need some understanding in a full-time course batch. It's not easy to understand within these 2 hours. Okay. You should have an expertise on trying to go from basic in a full-time course batch. Then you will learn all these things. Okay. Any doubts, guys? Any doubts? Any doubts, guys? You can ask. So this is a configuration. So once I'm done with this, I can terminate the server as well. VPC is definitely necessary. Without the network, you cannot try to have any resources launched. So it's an important aspect. Network is a backbone for any infrastructure. So the charges are, it just differs. Each service has different pricing. If you type free tier account, AWS free tier account, only some services are under the free tier, not all. And after that, if you're exhausting free tier account services, you need to pay the amount. Free services depending on how much time you are using and for how much time, what's the duration. Based on that, that will be free tier will be chargeable. Any doubts? Anyone can clarify? I'll be able to help you out. I'm shutting down the servers now. I hope you people have got a worth out of this session for networking module today. So tomorrow we'll try to review storage service as well. All right. Any doubts, guys? సరే పంపించావా?
Faculty members, I have an update. Share that with you. So we are going to start one SDP on 25th November. So I'm sharing the registration link. Please register and please forward that to. Okay. So the program name is Student Development Program on Project Excellence. So mastering your minor and major projects with real world case studies. Okay. So it is starting from 25th November. So the session will be on weekends for 15 days. Duration is 30 hours, 2 hours per day, 7 to 9 p.m. Sharing that link in YouTube also. Please register and please share with your students also. Thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask me in the chat box. So I'm sending again this attendance. If you missed out, please mark it again. Okay. And somebody is asking yesterday's attendance link. Sorry, we can't able to provide that. So as this is the third day, from today onwards, don't miss it. We require at least 60% attendance for the certificate. So means 3 days attendance is mandatory. So make sure that from today onwards, you are marking your attendance. Okay, and any other queries regarding LMS? Somebody is asking that I don't have a LMS access. Just drop an email to edl@excelor.com. Okay, my team will help you to that. Okay. I forgot to join the first day. It is problematic. Yeah, that's okay, Shantanu. From today onwards, please make sure you're marked your attendance or else it will affect on your certificate. Okay. Jamil, what is LMS? LMS is a learning management system. It's XLR's e-learning portal. So there you can watch the recordings of the previous classes and materials you can access and feedback link also. Yeah, I will share the attendance link. Just a minute. LMS link too. Just give me a second. I'll share that also. I sent LMS registration link. Please register if you don't have LMS access. So Rana Jeffrey, I sent this LMS registration link. Please register here. Like within 24 hours, you will receive a email. Okay, on this. So after that, you can log in into this. There you can get LMS access. Sorry, yeah, materials and all the things. Okay. I hope no more questions. So we'll wind up the session and we'll meet on tomorrow. Thank you. So by tomorrow evening, we'll upload all the day 3, day 4 materials in